Monopolies are rare because they're dangerous. The foundations of life, like food, education, shelter, certainly don't have monopolies. But then, why is your health run by a monopoly? Okay, let's take a step back. 1 in 10 people are harmed during a medical visit, and 50% of those people don't have to be harmed. Hospitals are supposed to save us, not kill us. But humans are humans and they're bound to make mistakes. For medicine, those mistakes are called medical errors. A Johns Hopkins study estimates that 200,000 to 400,000 people die every year from medical errors in the US. And whether that number may be overstated or understated, the point is we can still improve. And that's just one of the crazy facts. But each one of these deserve their own video. So you may think medical errors are a pretty easy problem to solve. All you need is a good diagnosis and question why we're not having good diagnoses, and a good treatment and why we're not having good treatment. But it's not that easy because medical errors come down to the things that just shouldn't happen. When a mistake is made in surgery, or when a patient falls, a patient gets infected, operating on the wrong body part, and bed sores? Yeah, bed sores. Although we have reduced some of those silly errors, there's still more we can do, especially in one section, medication errors. Throughout the administrative process of a medication, the wrong drug could be prescribed, you could receive an incorrect dosage due to a calculation error or just a silly mistake, delivering the medication in the wrong place or at the wrong time, and maybe one drug conflicts with another drug or an allergy you may have. Certain stages in the delivery process have different errors, and we may have a better chance of catching prescription errors than administration errors, for example. And what you start to realize with all these problems is that the root is all about human factors. Let's take a step back into the mind of a doctor.
Doc, am I gonna be okay? My last doctor said, this medication was good. I don't know if it's been helping me that much.
Hey doc, I think we're missing a medication on this patient. Dosage rate, 10 mg. Error? Gosh. Hey Adam, get hyped for the game tonight.
My last doctor said,
Just give me a minute. Medication V, the enter. Hey doc, I think we're missing a medication on this patient. Hey Adam, get hyped for the game tonight. Factors like distraction, lack of communication fostered by a hierarchical system, fatigue, complex cases in the ICU or with polypharmac patients, look-alike, sound-alike medication, all of these factors can increase the chance of a medical error happening. And with these cases, it's not like one factor causes a mistake. 21% of medication errors experience multiple problems at different stages in the administration process. The problem is doctors or staff may only have time to focus on the active error, or the original one. So in the previous scenario, we may blame the doctor for picking the wrong medication, but we don't investigate the doctor's state of mind, how many hours he worked for, why the pharmacist missed the error, why the computer system missed the error. And as a result, we can't improve the whole system. So how are we getting better at solving medical errors? Medical malpractice comes to mind for many people, but that assigns blame to a single person and doesn't help the whole system improve. Doctors will be less likely to report errors, and they may avoid difficult treatment strategies, even though they may be your best option for survival. Another approach is making the process of tracking medical errors easier. Companies like RL Datix are trying to implement error tracking systems that tell specific hospitals what's causing the most amount of their medical errors and why. This is useful because of the hierarchy of effectiveness. When you resort to education or teaching something, people will often forget it. But if you created forcing functions like removing vacronium from the easily accessible medication cabinet, it becomes impossible to make that error. And lastly, the holy grail that should catch all these medical errors, but is really just a monopoly on your health, electronic health records and meaningful use. You have a crazy leader enforcing practices that make doctors treat the computer screen over the patient. Nurses really just become data loggers. It's death by 1,000 clicks to find any info on the patient on a UI that looks like it's from the 90s. If a patient had an EEG diagram in a cardiac EHR, good luck accessing it on the general patient file. These systems cannot communicate. And that's one of the biggest problems, interoperability. The reality is the software doesn't treat the patient. It's meant to get your billing info. Because of meaningful use, hospital executives get paid grands to implement these crazy practices that wear out doctors. Think of it like writing a test, except you have 50 extra questions you can write. You get paid some money, but instead of it just being optional, you have to do it. Oh, and you have to do it for like 10, 20 patients every day? Fact is, doctors are coming home and still having to finish their charts. It's crazy. And because hospital executives make a lot of these decisions, companies are really pitching to them. They're not making the product for doctors or for patients. They want to give these hospital execs a platform where they can make more money. If they implement meaningful use practices and make it easy to get all the patient's billing info, hospitals are making money and the business is going good. So companies with large market share like Epic don't have to worry about their user interface or user design at all. And hospitals won't switch systems because all their data is in a single platform. That data cannot be shared across other platforms. To sum it up, hospital execs are the consumer, not doctors, not patients. And the product is your life. And sure, you may solve some of those problems, but the root of these problems, human factors, only becomes more pronounced. And sure, calculations are made automatically and warnings will pop up if there's a possible error, but imagine you get 50 of those errors popping up. You're going to run into alert fatigue and start paying attention to none of them. A study analyzing implementation of meaningful use found doctors spend 50% of their time interfacing with the computer, not treating patients. Doctors are spending more time on the computer screen than on you. The more boxes doctors have to click, the more they get tired and the more mistakes they can make. And with all that fatigue buildup, distraction with a bunch of errors coming up, no wonder doctor suicides have been going up over the past few years. If you're a doctor, your chance of committing suicide is twice times the amount of the general population. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, they're all too busy treating you in a broken system that affects their health and yours. So why don't they go out and protest? Well, then people would die. We have to stand up for them. Fixing problems that are related to human factors, interoperability, and the types of errors that we're catching, active versus latent errors, can all help improve our system. At the end of the day, just do something for you and for them. Otherwise, the medical monopoly will continue, and the main liability will be your life. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you really learned something and decided to take some sort of action to help solve this problem. I'll be linking all my research down below, and I definitely recommend checking out people like ZDoggMD and his video on EHR state of mind to get a better perspective of what this problem is like.